I need you to take a moment and pull out 4 pieces of paper. And at the top of the paper, I want you to write Topic 7 class notes. Write down Topic 7 class notes. Now, as you know, notes are very important for your success in class, on tests and quizzes, and anything else that we would need to use them for the Topic 7. Topic 7, so pause the video and I want you to actually copy down all of this page. The definitions, the chart. I do know that some of you might already have this chart and some of these definitions, but I want you to rewrite them down for the Topic 7 notes, so you're not having to go all the way back to Topic 5. Please write these down, because there's stuff added to these vocabulary words. It's very important that you have them written down, so please select pause. Thank you. Thank you for coming back. Now I want you to add this section to your notes. Make sure that you draw a boundary line between the above notes and this set of notes, because this is a whole other thing. How do we convert and solve mixed numbers? Remember, in mixed numbers, example would be, this is a mixed number. So I'm going to say this is a mixed number example. And how do we do that? How do we convert it to a fraction greater than 1? Some of you may know this as an improper fraction. So right now I want you to hit pause, and then we will work out one of these problems so you can have an example in your notes. So now we need to follow these steps right here on the left to convert this fraction to a factor greater than 1, to a fraction greater than 1, excuse me. So we will do that. How do we make this an improper fraction? Well, you're going to do 1 times the denominator, so you take the whole number and you times it by the denominator, which is 3. And then your next step would be to add the top to that 3. So 3 plus 2 equals 5. And then you keep the denominator. You always keep the denominator. Now this has been converted to a fraction greater than 1. Oops. And let me go back here to my drawing function. Sorry about that. So now you know how this says a fraction greater than 1? All that means is an improper fraction. Because if we were to convert this back to a mixed number, we would do, how many times does 3 go into 5? 1 time. How many are left over? 2. And we keep the denominator. Let's do one more so that you can have another example in your notes. How about 2 and we'll do 1/2. How do we convert it to a fraction greater than 1? 2 times 2 is 4, plus 1 is 5. So 5, and we keep the denominator. 5 over 2 is the fraction greater than 1. And that is how you convert a mixed number. Now that you have successfully written down this mixed number example, how to convert a mixed number to a fraction greater than 1, which some of you might remember as an improper fraction, now we're going to move on to the second step. Identify if the problem is addition or subtraction. Well, this is an example down here. These are both two mixed numbers that they want us to add together. So how are we going to do that? Well, first of all, we are going to convert them to a fraction greater than 1. And if you remember, we did that over here on the right. Remember? So 2 and 1/2 is 5 over 2. So this becomes 5 over 2. And you need to bring down the plus sign. And 1 2/3, as you can see up here, is 5 over 3. But do these have common denominators? Like it says here, common denominator. They must have a common denominator. So how do we find the common denominator between 2 and 3? Well, if you think in your mind, or even you look at a multiplication table and use that to find what 2 and 3 have in common. What factor do 2 and 3 have in common? And for me, that would be 6. So I'm going to multiply this 3 times 2, because that's going to give me 6. But I also have to multiply what times 2 to give me 6? Well, that would be 3. Some of you might remember this from your factor puzzle days in 6th grade. That might also help you if you remember, like, what are the two things, what number do these two numbers have in common? So I'm going to rewrite these. 2 times 3 is 6, and you have to also multiply it by the top, not just the bottom, but the top. And 3 times 5 is 15. I bring down my plus. 2 times 3 is 6, and 5 times 2 is 10. Now you can solve because they have the same common denominator. So the common denominator stays the same all the way across on the bottom. And 15 plus 10 is 25. You can leave it like this. I'll accept that answer. Or you can make it a mixed number. And 6 goes into 25 4 times. That's 6 times 4 is 24. There'll be 1 left over, and I keep the common denominator. So you could choose it to be looking like this or like this. Either one you will get correct. Please make sure that you write down these examples in your notes. Okay, the next step. I want you to write down multiply mixed numbers. This is another example. I'm using the same mixed numbers that we worked out here on the right, as you can see. And so we're going to convert these following number 1, convert them to a fraction greater than 1. So 1 2/3 we know is 5 over 3. And 2 1/2 is 5 over 2. And here's my multiplication symbol. And you're going to love multiplying mixed numbers, because when you're multiplying, you just multiply straight across. So 5 times 5, that is 25. And 3 times 2, that is 6. And that's it. You can leave it as a fraction greater than 1, or you can convert it back to a mixed number. So please take the moment to write this example down with the new heading of multiplying mixed numbers. All right, so now we're dividing mixed numbers. So I gave the example again. Once again, we have to convert it to a fraction greater than 1. We know that 1 2/3 is 5 over 3, and that 2 1/2 is 5 over 2. So I'm going to put my division sign, and all division is multiplying by the reciprocal. So I'm going to write that here, multiplying by the reciprocal. And I wanted to make sure you guys saw the word over here. So here we need to multiply by the reciprocal. The reciprocal of 5 over 2, this second number, we're looking at this second number, the reciprocal of 5 over 2 is, wait for it, it's going to blow your mind, 2 over 5. All you do is you switch it. And remember, the key word here is multiply. So you're going to multiply by 2 over 5. So now we have to rewrite this problem. It's going to be 5 over 3 multiplied by the reciprocal of 5 over 2, which we know is 2 over 5. And then you just multiply. You know already that you multiply the top straight across, which is 5 times 2 is 10. And then you're going to multiply going straight across on the bottom. 3 times 5 is 15. And then you would have to simplify this. 5 goes into 10 twice, and 5 goes into 15 3 times. So you can write it as 10 over 15 or 2 over 3. If you can simplify, always simplify. Make sure you write this example in your notes and make sure you write down the rule multiplying by the reciprocal and how to use it correctly. Now on another piece of paper, I would like you to add each one of these steps. Make sure that your notes look exactly like these notes because I do not want you to get lost. I want you also to remember where it says note here, how do you make a whole to a fraction? You just put it over a 1. So if I had the whole number of 10, this is the whole number. I'm going to convert it to a fraction, and that would become 10 over 1. Let's say I have 1,003 is my whole number. In order to convert it to a fraction, I have to do 1,003 over 1. It's going to be very important for you to remember. And make sure that your steps are clear in your notes. That's why I actually wrote these down on a piece of paper and uploaded the image, because I wanted you to be able to understand these. And we're going to go over these in class step by step. Okay? So make sure these are in your notes. Thank you for writing those previous page of notes. Now you have another page of notes. So on another piece of paper, I want you to copy down each one of these steps. The reason why I took the time to write down these steps is so that you have an example to always follow, instructions to always follow to make sure you're performing the correct steps to solve multiplying fractions correctly and dividing fractions correctly. So pause the video here and copy down these notes. Thank you. So this is the very last page of your Topic 7 notes. You just need to make sure that you write down every one of these words and their definitions, because they will help you when we start doing our story problems. You need to make sure you know what these mean, or at least have a resource to go look to see what they mean. This is the last page. There are a lot of different things that we're going to learn in Topic 7, so you need to make sure this time around your notes are very clear. That's why I wrote them down like that, so you can model exactly what I did. Thank you. One last thing, we will have a quiz on your notes. So like I said, make sure you go back, you review that you did not miss anything, that you wrote down everything word for word, problem for problem, example for example, because you will have a quiz on these notes. Thank you.